Good evening, good people. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Pro Fan Talk. My name is Marcus Thomas. Thank you for joining me. What's going on out there in the live chat? Sean Young, first out the limo. I appreciate you, brother. What's good, brother? Let's get this party started. You already know, man. Another week we moving and grooving. Another week we moving and grooving. The NFL is the gift that keeps on giving. Still a lot of news up out of there. Phillies cooled down a little bit, but we still making noise. Flyers making some noise, not necessarily for the right reasons, but Sixers still making some moves, and they got a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of stuff still going on in the league, man. Frank, what's good, dude? What's good? We gave up way too much. Yeah, they gave up the barn for DeAngelo, man. And Ristolainen. So I don't know what's his name? Chuck on the hot seat. Because if this don't work, he getting the boot. So Chuck Fletcher is hey man, if you gonna go out swinging on your terms. And I guess that's what he's doing. He gonna do what he feel is best for the Flyers, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that, man. But Frank, I appreciate you being in here quick, man. Appreciate you. A lot of stuff going on, man. Another where's my there we go. We had another guy, Rashard Anderson, another alumni brother, NFL alumni brother, gone too soon, man. 45 years old, dead. Not sure what he died from, cause of death. If you read his history, there's some signs that it was probably, might have been substance abuse. He was the Carolina Panthers' first round draft pick in 2000, but he only played until 2003. So it was a very short career, and I know he was suspended in 2002 for substance abuse. So, you can put two and two together, but they have not ruled out a cause of death. But man, these brothers that's getting up out of here, man, it seems like there's a common theme, and you mix that demon with the CTE stuff, man, that's bad business. So hopefully the NFL is taking some steps to help these people along the way, man. But not good news on that front. And the Eagles was in the news this week. Big news, not big news with the Eagles, but from the media front. Now, a couple weeks ago, people were paying attention to stuff that I was doing because I posted on my website. I was on Sports Take. The Sports Take is the show with Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis, Derrick Gunn, all of those great guys. Derrick, I know Barrett Brooks. Barrett called me up, or texted me rather, got me on the show. They ended up having me on there for a half hour. I thought I was going to be on there for like maybe 5-10 minutes tops. But they gave me a lot of airtime, and I appreciate that and hope I get the opportunity to go on again. It was a fun show. It's good to be, bouncing off other opinions and a lot of people in real time. But that's a fun show. But what happened was Derrick was talking about some comments that someone told him about Jalen Hurts in OTAs. And I don't think it went viral, but it caught enough attention where you had AJ Brown and some other Eagles chiming in on his comments. And let me blow this up so you can see it. So this is what D Gunn. What's up, TK? TK in the top 5, man. We got one more slot. Who's gonna be first out the limo? We got Sean Young, number 1, Frank, number 2, David Roska. You number 3 out the limo. TK is number 4. We got one more in the top 5. Who's gonna be my top 5 out the limo? I appreciate you. But here is Derrick Gunn's comments. And I saw the show, so I saw how he said it. Brian Daly, number 5 out the limo. What's going on, big dude? Glad to see you here, man. Appreciate you, man. But here is Derrick Gunn's comments. He said one person said, "Let me give you a scenario of what he went through in one day of practice." It was a 10-play scenario. He had 3 picks, 4 incompletions, and 3 sacks. So that's what somebody told him happened in OTAs. And people heard this, and they collectively lost their stuff, right? A.J. Brown was chiming in, talking about it was a lie and all this and all of that. So now the first thing people just threw out the window was all he was doing was saying that somebody reported it. This was told to him by somebody else. He didn't see this with his own eyes. Somebody told him this happened, right? And the other part of this is you're talking about OTAs. There are too many variables. There are too many X factors that can be in play during OTAs. Right? Who is he throwing the ball to? It was 7-on-7. How you going to take a sack in OTAs? Well, let me tell you how to take a sack. When you do in OTAs, usually you're running off a rhythm. So what they'll do is, for the quarterbacks, they'll time you. So as soon as you snap the ball, they got a stopwatch running. And the minute you hit 4.5 seconds or 3.5 seconds and all of that kind of stuff, they want you to have the ball. So it's a timing issue. Some routes, they want you to get the ball out in 3.5 seconds. If you got a 5 or a 7-step drop, that timing is going to be a little bit longer. So you're working on timing issues. You're working on being in sync with your receivers. The receivers might not necessarily know which route they're running. Did the receiver make a mistake? Did they make a break too late, too early? All of that kind of stuff. So for him to say something like that, I get it and I understand. And that's a possibility. But what it doesn't mean is that every mistake that was in that 10-play series was on Jalen Hurts. Like I said, was he running with a rookie wide receiver? Did A.J. Brown, not knowing a pattern, run the wrong route or something to that effect? Like, OTAs mean nothing. OTAs is there for the rookies to get in sync. What's up, twin? My twin sister's in the house. Big shout out to my twin sis, Mel. It was our birthday on Tuesday. So we have been raiding Amazon with our Amazon gift card gifts. So big shout out to my sis Mel. Happy birthday. Love you. But yeah, with OTAs, man, OTAs is for rookies and free agents, new signees, people that are not in sync with with Nick Sirianni, the Eagles system, the offensive system, defensive system, the coaches, all of that kind of stuff. All of those new guys are coming into camp so they can have some sort of familiarity and learning process so they can get comfortable with their surroundings. So when they come back in the real training camp, the learning curve is a little bit smaller. That's what OTAs are. So for somebody to report this, that's not out of the realm of possibility, but there's a lot of reasons for that. But in typical Philadelphia fashion, people took that and they ran with it. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when I was talking about critical mass. Critical mass meaning people will take the smallest bit of information and they will run with it. They don't research it. They don't care who said it. They don't vet it. Nothing. They want to be the first one to tell somebody, look what this person said. Look at this video clip. They just totally ignore context and they just run with it because they know it's going to get clickbait. Maybe it'll go viral, something like that, because that's the world we live in. It's an easy and quick hit. So I don't put much stock in it. Do I believe it happened? Yeah, I can see that happen. But what it doesn't mean is that Jalen Hurts was out there just stinking up the field. I don't believe that at all because I know how that stuff works. I know how that stuff works. If you got a young QB, I'm sorry, a young wide receiver, or you got a recent signee that's not comfortable in our offense yet, right? And say the DB comes and steps up to him and is playing a man-to-man, but before the snap of the ball, the DB backs off of him, gives him a 3 to 5 yard cushion. So now maybe there's a route. So if the DB lets up off you and gives you a cushion, maybe instead of taking it to the outside, maybe you're supposed to break it down and cut across the middle. Different things like that based on different defenses, based on the things that the defense will give you can change your route. So it can be a lot of different things. Usually in situations like that, he threw 3 interceptions. You know what? He's not going hard. There's no rush. He's not scrambling. The DBs pretty much know the plays. That's the one thing with OTAs. You go through it and you pretty much know what's coming. So I don't put too much stock into that. And I always find it funny that people will take that stuff and they run with it. You know, I mean, Sean, you ain't wrong, man. But even if I guarantee you, it was very filtered results and reports that were coming out of OTAs. What I heard a lot of from Jalen Hurts was, yeah, Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball a lot better. His ball is coming out a lot crisper, and he's putting, he's got a little bit more juice on the ball, and like things like that really don't mean anything. You know what I mean? I don't care if the ball comes out crisp in 7-on-7. It's supposed to. You ain't got a rush in front of your face. That's the place where the quarterback's working on his form, his technique, his mechanics, footwork, all of that stuff that people like to pick apart. That's when you're supposed to put it all together. He's been working on that in the offseason, doing all of that kind of stuff. Well, now OTAs is where you're supposed to put that type of stuff together. And then when you get into training camp, you crank it up a notch. You got to crank it up a notch. And then when you get, it's going to be the same thing in training camp. I guarantee you, people are going to see the media is going to be out there, and Jalen Hurts is going to have a great day of practice. And it's going to be, oh, he's looking good. That's what we need to see. If he can do this all year, you know, they're going to put all of these projections and prognostications out there based on one good day of practice. And then on the flip side of that, he's going to have a bad day of practice. And they're going to do the same thing, but to the negative. And they're going to jump off the deep end. Just like, look at what they did with Tua, I can't say his last name, Tua down in Miami. They put that video out there of him throwing that ball to Tyreek Hill, and people lost their ever-loving mind. Jake Friel, what's good, my dude? Exact, dude, I'm with you. OTAs don't concern me. It was one practice, one report, and the part that got out of context was, I believe, the person that was reporting it, they also said some other stuff that D Gunn didn't get into. A lot of positive stuff that they said about Jalen Hurts. So, you know, it don't mean nothing, man. I agree with you 100%, bro. Training camp is where it's at, and not really training camp. See, that's the thing with Jalen Hurts. I don't want to see training camp. Training camp doesn't mean nothing. Preseason, we're going to see vanilla defenses. Nobody's going to show their hand. Nobody's going to be playing the real defense. They're going to be playing very vanilla, very basic blitzes and all of that kind of stuff. It's going to be a very base, very vanilla and dumbed down looks in the preseason. Again, preseason is for rookies. Preseason is for those guys trying to make the team. Jalen Hurts might play 3 quarters in preseason. Maybe. Because you don't want to get him out there, get him hurt, get him dinged up, and now you starting behind the 8 ball when the season really starts and it really matters. So I expect Jalen Hurts to play maybe. He won't even play 4 quarters, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens, man. I don't put too much into all of that stuff. Yes, I believe that was the report, but it don't really mean nothing. It really doesn't. You know, somebody, you know, they saw what they saw. And they're not wrong, but there's just more to it than that. There's a lot of context that was missed. Thank you. Tungo Vailoa. For whatever reason, I could not say that, bro. That was killing me. So I just like, keep it to her. Keep it to her. But yeah, y'all remember that stuff when Tua threw that pass to Tyreek Hill and people lost their mind because he underthrew it and he doesn't have an arm. And it was like, what are y'all doing? The dude dropped back with a fishing hat on. That lets you know the tone of the practice. And I won't even call it practice because when I looked at the video, the first thing I said was when they focused on him, I was like, oh, he just didn't warm up. They ain't doing nothing. Sure enough, he just didn't warm up. He threw a long ball. I don't know if he was warmed up yet. I don't know what Tyreek Hill was doing. But he slowed down and caught the ball. And it was like, oh, my God, he underthrew him. And they went way left with it. And I was like, y'all people are crazy. Yes, Vince, we do have a scrimmage with the Dolphins. I believe that's our first. I believe the Eagles are going to Miami. So that will be interesting to watch. But again, I don't expect the thing you want to see, but you're not going to be able to see it, is you want to see practice. You don't want to see preseason because, again, Jalen Hurts is probably not going to play long. Tua is not going to play long. And you got the young guys in there. They're not going to have a lot of play time for the vets. All of that kind of stuff. So you're not going to see much. But if you can watch practice is where it's at. Practice is you're going to be able to see and who's got the attitude, who's starting the fights and all of that kind of stuff. That's what you really want to see is the practice. But that's not, unless you in with the organizations, you'll never see that. You'll never see that. Unless you one of the guys that want to go down to practice, and there'll be some media guys there, and then you'll get those reports. You know, well, what I saw in this practice, or this guy has a motor running. He's always to the quarterback. You know, he's always in somebody's. That's the type of reports you hear from the guys that are watching practice. Then you can get a sense of what you're looking at, and that's the stuff that people don't see when you get those guys that go to practice and they get an inside eye of what's really going on. Then you can see who had a good camp, not who had played well in preseason, who had a good camp. Camp is the day-to-day practice. You'll have people that had a good camp and they might not catch a pass in preseason for whatever reason. So, yeah, I mean, you're right, Vince. Media's going to have a field day with that. And they're going to nitpick every little damn thing. Every little thing they're going to nitpick. And it's going to be like, come on, man, y'all got to chill out. But I mean, we know the world we live in now, that's just everything is full tilt, especially with the media coverage. Context be damned. They're going to roll with it. So, you know, I know a lot of people are, and I'm one of them, expecting big things from Jalen Hurts. I need Jalen Hurts to get as close to 4K as he can get, 4,000 yards passing. I don't expect him to get 4,000 yards passing. I hope he'll get close, at least above 35. But more importantly, I want his passing percentage to be up. I want his passing percentage to be up. And I want Nick Sirianni to, or whoever's going to be calling plays this year, I need them to show me that same hurry up that they showed me against Atlanta last year. We saw it one time and we never saw it again. And it was like, you can't do that. Do the things that make your team successful, period. You can figure out the rest on the way. And it, in my opinion, he really didn't do that. So, but no more excuses this year. So Jalen got to be able to sling that ball. And not, let me change that around. He don't have to be slinging the ball around, but I expect his passing to be much better than it was last year. So we'll see what happens. We will definitely see what happens. So I pulled this T Birdman. I don't know if some of you guys follow him on Twitter or Facebook, but I pulled this post today. I told him I was going to shout him out. So big shout out to T Birdman. First good game Jalen Hurts has, people going to go crazy. First bad game, you're going to want to trade him. Absolutely right. 100%. That's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to have, he has a good game and, he's going to lead us to the promised land. You're going to have a bad game. He's a bum. Get him out of here. Like, we have zero patience. And I don't understand, especially people that claim to be real football fans and pay attention and all that kind of stuff. People that claim to do their homework and know the game, do some research. You look at all them quarterbacks you see on NFL films, all those guys, and you look at what they did they first 2, 3, 4 years back then. They had to do their grind, they had to take their lumps, and they had to develop to get where they wanted to get. It was not instant. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we gotta be patient, and we got to let this kid do what he needs to do. I just need him to not have a horrible. He's just got to be better than last year. And think about it. Last year, if you take the Carolina game, and I believe the Giants game, if you take those two games out of the picture, where I believe he threw Carolina, he threw 2 or 3 picks. I know the Giants, he threw 3 picks. You get rid of those 2 games, his season is even better. But you can't get rid of those 2 games because he did stink up the joint in those 2 games. I believe the Giants game was the one where he laid a deuce and said that in the press conference. So, yeah, Manny, that is Philly. That's Philly in a nutshell. They take everything to heart and they take it to the next level, and they don't need to. But you're right, that's Philly. So we're going to have to set realistic expectations this year. Realistic expectations. But don't get it twisted. I want Jalen to succeed, and I believe he will succeed. But I want those expectations to be with a little bigger dose of realism. Right? And I got some questions this week about Miles. And this was from Jacob Media as well. I need to be more consistent, but I need more opportunities. And here's what I think about Miles. I think Miles should be our starter this year. I still think Miles is a home run hitter. But I think that Jalen Hurts is going to have a better passing year this year. I believe that. I'm confident that he's going to throw the ball better. And because of that, we are going to have a much better balanced running attack, which means he might not be able to run the ball. He's not going to have as many touches as he should have had last year. Let me say as he should have had. Because he really didn't have a lot of touches because he was splitting time and, he didn't really do anything until after the 5th game. So I need them to give Miles quality over quantity. I need them to run Miles off tackle. I need them to let Miles line up 7 yards deep like a true tailback, and run off tackle and read the defensive line. That's what I need him to let Miles do. He's a slashing type runner. He's got great speed. He can take off on you, but you got to run him right. And my personal opinion, me as a running back, we do too much east-west stuff. And as a running back, I hate running east-west. The only time you want to run east-west is if you get in the pitch. When you behind the center, you need to go downhill, period. All that pistol stuff and you handing off and he going, running, outside trying to get the corner, that means when you're running outside from gun formation, that means you are trusting your receiver to take that DB out of the equation. That's number one. That also means your tight end or whoever, your tight end or your slot to the live side has got to secure that corner or hook that linebacker. Because if they don't get that block, that linebacker is going to come up or that defensive end is going to come up and bust you in the mouth. Y'all remember that play last year? That was all Jalen Hurts. That play against the New Orleans Saints, where he put his foot in the dirt and he basically broke the ankles of that defensive end for the Saints, and he ended up scoring a touchdown. The defensive end he made the right play. He got outside. He made Jalen Hurts make a decision. The problem was Jalen Hurts put a move on him that was so good that he couldn't recover, and he took it for 6. But that was all Jalen Hurts. You can't. He made a good play. The defensive end made a good play. Jalen Hurts made a great play. That's the difference. That's the difference. Vince, I'm with you, dude. Miles knows he's playing for a contract. You think he puts the pressure on himself to always make a big play instead of what the defense. The problem with that is everybody says that when you have that circumstance, but that's not what you do. You don't run the ball. You go with what you see. Period. You go with what you see. Look at what Wentz did last year in Indianapolis. What was the thing with Wentz? Everybody was like, "Oh, he plays too much hero ball." Everybody complains about hero ball only when something goes incomplete. When he makes a play, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So you can't have it both ways. That's how they play. That's how he played in Philadelphia, and it was good for a time. It was good until it wasn't. Same thing in Indianapolis. Same thing with Miles here. That's how he runs the ball. But I still say, based on what I see and based on my experience as a running back, Miles is that dude. If they feed him right. Now, hero ball, to my last point, if you give him the ball out of gun and got him trying to get around the end, that looks like hero ball. Or if you hand him the ball out of gun, but he's supposed to go inside the tackle, that means you're going to your left. Then you got to go upfield. You've already given up 2 steps. Those 1, 2, or 3 steps you take to the right or to the left, the defensive line is coming towards you. So you losing ground. That's why you want to go downhill. I'll challenge anybody. Go look up, go on YouTube and look up Terrell Davis when he was with the Broncos. They ran a read offense. Terrell Davis was lined up deep, and he would run downhill over the tackle, and he would read the offensive line and make his cut. So there was no hole. As a running back, you got holes. 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, right and left. So if you're running over if you're running inside the tackle, that's the 4 hole. But you got to read the tackle. If the tackle hooks his guy and presses him inside, you're going to go outside his butt, but somebody's got to get that linebacker. That's what that tight end or that slot does. But even if somebody misses their block, as long as you're running downhill, if they get you at the line of scrimmage, you still falling forward. So worst case scenario, you'll get a yard. So I need the Eagles and Sirianni and whoever's going to be calling plays, I need Miles Sanders to get quality touches, not quantity. He'll make the most of it, and quantity comes when you the hot hand and can't nobody stop you. If our offense if we just running over folks, if Mailata is just killing his man on the left side, then you keep running it till they stop it. That's where the quantity comes in. But that quantity comes, that's a quality play because you know your guy is beating his man. So that means they got to do something else. They got to double team. They got to move somebody over there. They got to blitz the hole. That means they got to do something to shore that up. Normally, if they have to do that, that means there's a weakness somewhere else that you can exploit. That's the chess game. So that's what they got to do. Wanted to touch on baseball real quick. Shout out to Kyle Schwarber, made the home run derby. Shout out to Bryce. In spite of his broken thumb, still gets voted to the All-Star game as a DH. So shout out to him, and he deserves it because he was balling. He's still, as many games as he's been out now, I believe he still got the best batting average on the team. But hopefully he'll be back. So we'll see what's going to happen. And then my must-see TV, Ohtani. Ohtani is the second or third player in the modern MLB to be voted to the All-Star game as a two-way player, obviously as a pitcher and a hitter. So Ohtani is that dude. He puts in work. He is must-see TV for me. If I'm turning on the Angels, I'm watching to see him play. Period. He's that good. Harper was on my list as must-see TV, but obviously he's hurt. Ohtani and that kid Cruz from Pittsburgh. I will turn the TV on just to see them play. But what Ohtani is doing is just off the charts. Just he's stupid. He's smacking the ball 400-something feet in the upper deck, and he's a pitcher and throwing 100. That's crazy. That's crazy. He's playing high school ball with these dudes in the MLB. That is crazy. So must-see TV, but that's my little blurb on the All-Star game coming up. So good stuff. Now let's move on to the spiciness. This dude, the Flyers, man, listen. The Flyers signed Tony DeAngelo. And immediately everybody's like all up in arms. I had to do my homework. I had never heard of the dude because, I'm a Flyers fan, but I don't follow hockey like that. So I had to do my homework, and this dude's got a checker pass. This dude makes Riley Cooper look like a Boy Scout. Like, this is a guy, you look at Tortorella and you're like, well, no, not Tortorella. Not Tortorella. You look at the Flyers GM, Chuck Anderson. And you look at him with that arched eyebrow, and you like, really? Really, dude? You gave up all of them picks for this headache? Now, let's be realistic about it. Last year, everything seemed to be okay. But like the stuff that this dude is getting called on the carpet for is like, oof. It's one thing when you nowadays, because I can use the NFL as an example, you either got somebody substance abuse or you got these dudes with like Deshaun Watson, like Ray Rice, some type of domestic improper behavior, domestic abuse, something like that. So it's something, it's always something. But this dude with the homophobic and the racist and the misogynistic, but with all of that, whenever you got somebody, and let me just throw this out there, the kid is good. He's good. But when you good like that, and they still getting rid of you because they just don't want to deal with you, that's a problem. And more than anything else, when you getting into it with your own teammates, that's a problem. When you going at it with your own teammates, fist fighting. Now, I'll be the first one to tell anybody, when you are on a squad, you are not supposed to get along with everybody. There are some people like that who get along with everybody, and there are some people who aren't. That's just the dynamic. Some people don't get along with the people in their house or in their family. Some people ain't spoke to their brothers or their sisters in years and all of that kind of stuff. The locker room is a family dynamic. Some people you get along with, some people you don't. But the one thing that you have in common, when you step on that field, when you step on that court, when you step on that ice, we all on one accord. When you step on that ice, it's time for business. I might not like you any other time, but when it's game time, I'm gonna fight for you. Period. That goes without question. So when you have somebody like this, and he's been in situations twice where he's got into it with guys on his team. The most recent situation was when he was with the Rangers, and the Rangers was like, yeah, we need to get rid of you, and you ain't gonna never play for us again. So this is a risk because Vince, you are not the only person that thinks that, bro. You are not Sean. A lot of people sell the team, get rid of him because Chuck Fletcher don't know what he's doing. But also, y'all remember this dude. Y'all remember what happened with that. Brian, I heard that, but I think it was what he said that prompted the response. You don't just out of the blue throw a punch at somebody. He said something to the goalie, and I believe if what I read was correct, I believe it was some anti-Semitic or something like that. Because I know the kid's from Russia. The goalie was from Russia, something like that. So, in any case, whatever he did, being on the team, nobody just throws a punch out of the blue, especially on somebody on your own team. It doesn't happen like that. So there always has to be a good reason. I've only seen one fight between two teammates, like a for real fight, and this was when I was in Canada. It was these two dudes. It was this dude named Kendrick Nord and this dude named Dean Noel, a running back and a quarterback. And for whatever reason, they just didn't like each other. I don't know what happened. I don't ever remember anything. I just think they just didn't like each other. And something happened in practice. And Dean was one of them, you know, dudes from the islands with that attitude and that temper. And something happened in practice, and Dean walked up on him and like stepped to him, and Kendrick was kind of taken aback. And he took a step back and threw a jab, and they threw a couple punches before they broke it up. But it was like it was serious business. After that, they had no problem with each other, and they kept it. You know, they still didn't like each other, but they kept a distance and they did what they had to do on the field. But that one time, I'm saying I like to say you don't just fight people out of the blue, especially on your own team. So, and the Rangers got rid of him. And again, the kid ain't a scrub. So, but anyway, anywho, that's not that's not who you want to bring in. Especially if you're a coach, you trying to rebuild the culture and all that kind of stuff. Oh man, I didn't even see that. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, bro. I was all right in 1AA. Got my nomination. We'll see what happens in a couple months. But we'll see. The Flyers in some they're in a very interesting limbo because if you remember with Riley Cooper, they wanted. I was very surprised that they didn't cut Riley Cooper, but I believe Riley Cooper was that after Michael Vick? Because at the end of the day, regardless of what he's done, if he puts in work and he is part of the reason we start winning, all of that stuff is out the door. Ain't nobody gonna. They're not gonna care unless something else happens and he gets suspended, or like if he goes back to the same behavior that put him in this hot seat anyways. But this is a situation. This is what Tortorella is here for, because Tortorella is that type of dude. Like he can get in your face, he can scream you down, he can get loud and cuss you out too. So, and that kid is still young. He like 27, 28 now. I mean, 27 to 8 is young to me, but he's been in the league for a little bit, but he's still, when you compare, Tortorella's been around, won a cup, and he's got a volatile history too. So he knows, at least I will give him the benefit of the doubt of him knowing how to handle that. So that'll be interesting to follow, because now everybody, again, that's Philly. You know how Philly is. That dude steps out of line, Philly is going to crush him. Y'all thought it was bad with what they did to Ben Simmons. They're gonna destroy this dude. They're gonna have to get him out of town because he won't even be able to play at home. So, anytime you gotta have a press conference, or when people ask you and you gotta repeat, I am not a racist. That's in my past. That's not who I am. Anytime you got to put statements like that out there, immediately that's red flags. Immediately that's red flags. Your character is not something you can tell me about. Your character is what you live your day to day. So you can't tell me that's not what I'm about when your track record says otherwise. And your track record doesn't get erased because you had a good season. It just means you've gotten better. So I don't think he's had I don't think he's had too many issues since I think last year he was clean. I think it was a couple years ago he was a healthy scratch for discipline / maturity reasons and all of that kind of stuff. That's right, Sean. Vick was with the team. That's right, because Vick was the reason why he didn't get cut. That's right. Vick had to step in and was like, listen, with all the stuff that I've been through, I can't judge. So, yeah, Vick vouched for him, and they kept him on the team. But let me tell you, the way that stuff went down, I guarantee you, there was a lot of guys in that locker room giving him the arched eyebrow every time he walked in. They had to do what they had to do to put up the good front. But excuse me. But I guarantee you there were some very uncomfortable conversations with and without him. Because I'm sure there were some conversations on the people that didn't want him back in the locker room and was mad that they let him back in the locker room. That was a leadership thing. That was the captains on that team at the time had to make that decision. So what I would say is Riley Cooper had enough equity with those leaders on the team that they felt that it would be okay to keep him around. And then you had the weird situation where he played relatively well, but it was like it was a begrudging support when he caught the ball, when he made a play. It was begrudging. Golf claps. Like you cheering and you looking around like, oh, it's him. Like that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting what DeAngelo brings to the table. Again, the kid ain't no scrub. I know he can play, but let's just hope that all this nonsense is out of his system. And if he do something stupid, Philly gonna flip on him with the quickness. So, but at the end of the day, man, if he helped him bring in wins, that's all that matters. If he brings wins to this squad, if he puts that thing down on that ice, ain't nobody gonna care about what happened with the Rangers. Not gonna matter. So I don't know. I know we lost what's his name? Goudreau. He ended up going to Columbus. Flyers didn't even make an offer. And Flyers fans are sitting there like, yo, what? And that's why your boy's on the hot seat. Chuck about to be out. I think he might be out regardless. Because I don't know. Some of the stuff he's done is like it's almost like that I don't care attitude. And I know it's not like that. That's just what the optics are. So they need to get him out of there. So, but one thing I wanted to get back into, I put a poll on my Facebook fan page on Pro Fan Perspective. I don't know if anybody saw this. We were talking about the poll was, let me bring it up. Poll was who's going to be the better quarterback in 22. And I had a list of quarterbacks, not all the quarterbacks. This is just my personal list. And I basically put like the quarterbacks who I think are like on the hot seat. And I had, of course, Jalen Hurts is up top. Tua Tagovailoa, Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Zach Wilson and Baker Mayfield. Somebody put Baker Mayfield on there, and that's a good ad. And of course, we Philly centric, so Jalen Hurts gets 67% of the vote. You know, that was 87 votes for you know, for Jalen, but like the person that I voted for, even though I'm pulling for Hurts, but the person I'm looking at is Trevor Lawrence down in Jacksonville, because Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson are going to do work, and Doug Peterson knows how to coach quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence is in the best situation he could be in, especially because there's something to be said about this, because you get a level of appreciation when you play for a horrible coach and then you get a good coach. That makes a difference. When you play for a bad coach and then you get a good one. So he got the worst of the worst. And now you got somebody with a fresh start, with experience, with a Super Bowl pedigree. And not for nothing, Doug Peterson, now he knows what not to do. Sometimes people don't talk about that enough. When you know what not to do because you've been there. I wish Doug would have stayed. I really would have liked to see Jalen Hurts under Doug Peterson. I think that would have been much more beneficial for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles than the situation we're in now. But we'll see. Yep, October 2nd in Philly. That's going to be a good game. I know a lot of people are going to be looking at that, but again, like I was saying earlier, Sean, we're not going to see much. We're not going to see going to see a lot of vanilla stuff. Jalen Hurts might play a quarter. Trevor Lawrence might play a quarter. Tyreek Hill might catch one pass if he plays at all. What does Tyreek Hill need to prove? Nothing. What I would like to do, like I said earlier, is go down there and watch practice. That's what I want to see. I want to see what our DBs in the game do against Tyreek Hill in practice. That's where it's going to make a difference. So I am cautiously optimistic on Nick Sirianni's chess game, meaning making the right adjustments in game, putting the Eagles in the best situation to win. I'm not quite sold on his chess game yet. Can you outmaneuver? Can you find a weakness? Can you exploit that weakness until they stop it? That's the type of stuff that we need. So I'm not down on it. I just haven't seen enough of it yet. Everybody's getting very antsy. This is going to be one of the most exciting preseasons we've had in a long time. We've got a lot of attention going into the preseason. A lot of attention. And that's going to continue because Jalen's going to be under the microscope. He is going to be under the microscope. So I'm going to have my I'm going to get that package from the NFL Network, the all 22, all that kind of stuff, so I can get back into, watching game film. I challenge anybody, man. Find somewhere where you can watch game film. Yo, Jake, good point, dude. Great point. Great point. Carson Strong. The only thing I don't like about Carson Strong is he ain't moving nowhere. He ain't moving nowhere. So that protection better be tight, because Carson Strong ain't scrambling out of no situations. And I'm hoping that Jalen doesn't get the happy feet this year. I don't want Jalen Hurts running at all. I want us to hand the ball off to the running backs, which is why we pay them to run the ball. They are running backs. I hope you're right, Vince. I hope they give Jalen time to learn up and do what he has to do. So, but it'll be very, very interesting. I am interested to see Carson Strong. Carson Strong is I think he's a good young quarterback, minus the mobility issues. But I think people are going to get enamored with his arm. I think he'll probably have a really good showing in preseason, because him and Gardner Minshew are the people you're going to see the most. So they're going to have a couple more camp bodies. I don't even know what their roster, what their depth chart is. Who's the other two quarterbacks? Because I know they're going to have at least either 4 or 5, usually 5 in camp. So you got Jalen Hurts, Gardner Minshew, Carson Strong. Who are the other 2 quarterbacks they're going to have? They're going to have some camp bodies. I mean, and if they don't, that's cool too. That just means more rep for the guys that need it. So, but yeah, I'm very interested to see Carson Strong myself. So we're gonna see what happens, man. We halfway through July, man. So August will be here in a minute, and then when August gets here, that's when the hype is really gonna start up, because now you getting ready to go to camp. The real deal, not OTAs, not 7-on-7, not practicing in shells. You going down at the bang. Put a hat on somebody. That's where you start learning some things. So we'll see what's going to happen, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for this season. I think Jalen's going to surprise some people. So we'll see what's going to happen, man. But I'm about to get out of here, dude. We almost at that hour mark. So I got a pretty cool guest coming next week. I'm trying to set some things up. One of the super fans from Philadelphia. I want to get some pictures. I'm going to try to get him on live just so he can walk around his Eagles cave and show y'all what's up, man. It's off the chain. So I'm hoping I can get this guy. I don't want to jinx it, but keep following me on Pro Fan Perspective. Tell somebody about me. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate you, bro. Tell somebody about me. Smash the like button. If anybody missed the show, tell them they can watch it in its entirety as soon as I'm done. All right. And hey, if what's up, Thomas? If anybody out there, if you got any ideas on how to make this thing grow, man, yo, shoot me a text or a post or something on my fan page. I'm always looking for ideas, man. I know I'm not the smartest person in the room, so I'm always looking for somebody smarter than me that can do something better. But hey, if anybody got any ideas, throw it my way, man. Always trying to get better. So thank you for joining me. I'm about to be out. I'm gonna give me something to eat. I got a new blender from Amazon, and I'll want to use it. I think I'm gonna make me a smoothie. And I will holler at you guys next week. Keep touching my fan page. I'm out of information very, very soon about our guest next week, and we're gonna have a good time. All right. Y'all have a good week. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Mask up. Be careful out there because COVID ain't playing. And I will holler at you guys next week. Peace.